welcome back to the 20-Hour Ukulele Challenge, and right now we're going to do I Don't Know My Name by Grace Vanderwall. So I'm going to teach this song a little bit differently than I do some of the other ones. A lot of times I'll give people a step-by-step walkthrough of like every single thing. This is the order you do it in. This one I want you to try to think a little bit more because, well, first of all, for me to try to explain everything about this song, it's kind of twisty. Like the song is very sort of dramatic in all the emotions it expresses, and a lot of the way she does that is she changes the speed and the style of the song a whole bunch as she goes. She mixes a bunch of elements up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trust you've listened to the song a little bit and you kind of have it in your ear. And again, I have notes on all this stuff on my website. There's a free lesson page. It's got the chords and the words to all this stuff. It's all there. So use that if you need a guide. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the different styles and the different sounds that she uses in this song. And again, rather than trying to like take you through every single piece of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to practice the different sounds that she's got. And then when you're ready to really try to get into the music, then I'm going to point you to a particular recording. There's a live recording that she plays on the Honda stage in the Brooklyn Art Library. It's a really, really good really good live recording, and I mean, if they take that one down, I'll post another one. But what I'm going to recommend you do is you learn the song here, you learn the basic ideas at least, and then you go try to play along with a good live recording, because that's really the best way to learn a lot of songs like this. They have a lot of emotional nuance, and you also get like little details from playing along with the original artist that are really hard to convey in a lesson here. So what I'm going to teach you is like basic stuff. Like this is how you do the swing, this is how you do the chords, all that stuff. And I'm going to give you some things to look for, but then I want you to go listen to Grace. And I want you to play along with her, and I want you to use your ears and really try to let the music drive what you do. Because I think you'll learn more that way than if I tried to explain every single thing that I hear in it anyway. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is the chords. The chords of this song aren't too bad. There's really one loop that goes throughout the whole song. It's a really, really essential part of the song is this idea of starting with C, going to F, lifting a finger, going to A minor, and then going to a G chord. And I tend to like to play it like this, where it's kind of twisty fingering, but a lot of people probably prefer to play it middle finger, second fret of the first string, ring finger, third fret of the second string, and index finger, second fret of the third string, kind of like that. So take a second and make sure, just before you do anything else, make sure you can go C, F, A minor, G, back to C. Make sure you can do that and make sure all four notes sound really clear in each chord. Because if your chords don't sound very clear, the rest of it's kind of mush. So I'm gonna just pause here and let you work on that for a little bit. And when you're ready, we're gonna keep going. So now let's talk about the strumming. So the main pattern she uses in this song is what I call the life-saving pattern. It's a really, really useful pattern. You can use it in pretty much anything that's groovy. It's kind of the definition of what we call like the groovy ukulele style. So it goes like this. You go down, down, up, and you go down, but skip, up, down, up. So again, slowly, down, skip, down, up, skip, up, down, up. If you do it with counts, it goes kind of like this. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Play along if you can. 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. So go ahead and go back and just play with me in this video if you have to a couple times to get that down. You can speed it up or slow it down using the YouTube app, but just repeat that until you feel like you've internalized that pattern. It's 7 strokes. Down, skip, down, up, skip, up, down, up. What's 6? Down, down, up, down, up. 6 strokes. Yeah. So try to get those 6 strokes and the rhythm kind of locked in. To the basic idea, because what's going to happen when you play this song is Grace really sort of plays with it. Like a lot of what this is pendulum strumming is your hands just kind of flopping up and down, 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 up, down, 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 up. But sometimes you might hit an extra stroke here or there, and that's part of the style. Is that she's not She's not classical music. It's not like, oh, you must hit all the right notes all the time. No, she's just kind of strumming along to accompany her singing. The song's about the words. So you want to get this pattern down, but then to a certain degree, just kind of let your hand go and don't worry about it too much. One other feature, actually, real quick, let me show you what that looks like. If I'm really strict, I'd be like down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up. That's only hitting where I'm supposed to. But if I kind of let my hand just flop, I might hit some extra strokes here and there, and it still sounds pretty good. It's not really a huge deal. So that's kind of the idea, is that you want to know that bass pattern. You want to have it really well internalized, but you don't stick to it religiously. You just kind of play around it. Another thing she does is, we do this in a lot of our other songs, she accents the 2 and the 4 a lot of the times. And a lot of times in the really fast sections, if you can't play this pattern as fast as she does, because she plays it really fast sometimes, you can actually just accent the 2 and the 4. You can literally go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I would suggest if at the really fast parts you want to play like she does, and you can't go down, down. If you can't play 4 chords in a cloud of dust, then just go do downstrokes on the 2 and the 4, and you'll probably be fine. It's kind of like, I heard you are my sister's friend, you get along quite nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4. You count 1, 2, 3, 4 really, really fast. You go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and you count to 4 twice for each chord. That can work for the fast parts. But underneath it, if you can, you want to kind of start to practice, especially with the really, really slow parts. Practice going like 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and try to make the 2 and the 4 really, really loud, and everything else really soft. And it's like trying to do that with the up and the down strokes is a little tricky at first. So let's practice that together. We're going to do it really, 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 really slow, so you have lots of time to control your strokes. I'm going to go slower than I've probably ever gone in this series before, and you can use the YouTube app to slow it down even more. However slow you need to go, even if you need to take it out of time, however slow you need to go to control your motions and the dynamics, that's how slow you want to go, because it will get faster with time if you learn to do it slow correctly. You got to trust that. It really, really does work. So here we go. I'm just going to play. I'm going to mute everything. I'm going to be like, whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm just going to lightly rest my fingers on the strings, not pushing, just lightly resting there. And then we're going to play everything like that. Remember, our pattern is down, down, up, skip, up, down, up. That's our pattern. We're going to make the 2 and the 4 really loud. So if we're counting like 1 and 2, and here we go. We're like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. So that right there, just to really get those dynamics, the backbeat into this pattern, I really recommend just like, I'm going to pause real quick, let you work on that a little bit so you can really try to internalize it a bit. And even if you don't master it now, just working on it a bit now to make it better is good, because this will show up in pretty much every groovy song you do. Okay, now that you worked that a little bit, so the next thing I want to talk about is swing. Sometimes she plays this pattern straight, especially when it's fast, because it's really hard to swing it that fast. It's possible, but it's really tricky. But when she plays it slow, she tends to swing. Now, what swing means is that there's kind of, I have a whole nother lesson related to this, so if you want to learn about it in another lesson, check it out below, but I'm going to quickly explain it here. So swing is where you kind of take the ands and you kind of make them a little bit later. So you basically start, instead of going like down, up, and all the strokes are even, you kind of go up, down kind of fast. So you're kind of like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If if you say 1 and 2 and if you count in sections of like 3, you're like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you'd always go up on the and down on the numbers. So that kind of makes the upstroke and the downstroke that's after it closer together. And it makes it, if I speed it up, it's going to sound like this. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. I'm just going up on the uhs, but if you really slow it down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and that's kind of just ultimately it's a groove you want to learn. You want to learn to go ba 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 ba, down and up and down, up down, up down and up down and up down and up down. So that's what we're going to kind of work on really quickly for a second here. And then we're going to try to put it into the life-saving pattern. It's going to be a little tricky, but, well, it might not be. Some people will probably find it easy. We're going to find out. So here we go. Let's do this on an A minor chord, because why not? So we're just going to start with just going 1 and 2 and we're going to go down, up, down, up, 1 and 2, kind of like that. I'm going to do it together, a little slower than that. And we're just going to do that maybe 4 times to kind of get a sense of the swing, and then you can speed it up if you want. And this is just to get your arm to feel the groove. So here we go. You kind of hang down a little lower and then snap up and down. Ready? 1 and 2 and here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. So go ahead and repeat that faster or slower. Use the YouTube app if you need to. But you want to kind of get your arm used to going down, up, down, up, down. Instead of down, up, down, up, down. I want it to be a down, up, down. That more kind of groovy feel, because that will, especially there's a lot of parts in this song where she uses that. And you don't have to do it. You could straighten everything out and just play it however. It'll be fine. But it's a little more true to the original song if you know how to do the swing. So now, I'm going to play it maybe a teeny bit faster in the life-saving pattern. I'm going to count the life-saving pattern with the swings. So remember, the way we change this, instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we go 1 and 2 and all those upstrokes happen on the uhs. So we still have the same stroke pattern. It's still down, down, up, down, 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 up. We count it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So I'm going to do that slower. Try to do it with me if you can. Again, use YouTube to slow it down or speed it up as you need. So here we go. 1 and 2 and here we go. Down and 2 and 3 and 4 and down. Down, up, skip, up, down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Awesome. So that's something you might get that really quickly. You might really, really struggle with it for now. Don't get too hung up on it for now. What I do is, like, if you're not getting it right away, file it away, keep looking for it, because the swing will keep showing up, and the more songs you do that use it, if you just practice it a little bit every time you get to a new song that uses it, eventually you'll get really good at it. So let's leave that behind for now, and then let's talk about the song. So in this song, Grace uses a whole bunch of different styles. She definitely uses kind of like a shuffle. A shuffle is kind of like the slow swung sort of thing. You know, it really starts out with a shuffle. I don't know my name. Sorry, I started with the wrong chord, but you get the idea. I don't play. The idea of a shuffle is you have the underlying swing pendulum going on. That's what a shuffle is. Now, when you kind of play strummy stuff really fast, I'll call that groovy, or some people will. It's almost like a bluegrass kind of thing. Like some people like play these exact patterns in bluegrass. If they play the same thing, just like the life-saving pattern, but as fast as you possibly can, straight time. So that's kind of like, it's almost like a bluegrassy thing, or maybe like a really fast groovy thing. So that's a thing. And there's another thing where sometimes she just brushes the chords really softly. Like the bridge, she uses different chords entirely. You can use Uku tabs, or you can use the tabs that are on my website to look up what the chords are for that part and which words they fit with. But they're different from the rest of the song. She's not using the normal chord loop. And what you really want to do is you want to try to just like listen to like how many strokes she does, but they're all gonna be downstrokes. And she's gonna kind of boom and let the words ride. She just changes the chords to kind of give the words something to float on a little bit. It's really, really simple. So that's the idea of ballad style. It's like boom. To playing in the marching band. She might hit a chord more than once, but she's not gonna like do a million ups and downs or fancy rhythmic stuff on it. It's just boom. Give it a little bit of space. And again, she does this to kind of give it more dynamic range. She uses the really, really energetic stuff, you know, that stuff, and then she uses the kind of shuffly stuff to be kind of sad. Maybe it's like, oh, kind of had a hard day, kind of just sitting here watching the rain, thinking about my difficult day at school or what have you. And then the ballad style is kind of like, whoa, just think about all the things that happened. Wow, I made so many special friends today. You know, it's just a different feeling, and it gives you more of a range of emotion. So what you want to try to do is realize that this same chord pattern she uses for most of the entire song, C, F, A minor, G, with this life-saving pattern, sometimes with a shuffle that's kind of slow, sometimes with just brushes in kind of the ballad way, and sometimes, it's really quick like that. She uses all of those different things to kind of really expand the feeling of this song. So what I want you to do is make sure you can play. Just check and see. Can you play all those styles? Can you play just this basic chord loop? In fact, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play the basic chord loop in all three of those styles. And if you can, I would like you to try to play along with me. And I'll actually sing the chorus so you get the idea. Then, if you can do that, if you can play the chorus of this song twice in a row, and mostly hit the chord changes on time in the style that we're playing here, you're definitely ready to go like play along with Grace and see if you can figure out when is she doing which one. And when is she like changing the chords, and then which chords is she doing? Because you can look that up pretty easily. And that's a good thing to get in the habit of doing, is like looking up chords for the songs you want to do. So let's give that a try. 3 choruses. We'll go ballad first, then blues shuffle, then we will do 3 chords in a cloud of dust after that. So 2 strums for each chord. Starting on C. 1, 2, here we go. I don't know my name. I don't play by the rules of the game, so you say. I'm just trying. Alright, there's ballad style. Do it again if you need to get used to it. When you're ready, we're going to go on to blues shuffle. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know my name. I don't play by the rules of the game, so you say. I'm just trying, just trying. There we go. All right, last of all, and this is how she plays the last chorus of the song. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I you might have to practice a little bit. Or maybe you nailed it the first time. Who knows? Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you practice along with the record and learn more about Grace's style. It's fantastic. And yeah, I hope you try the 20-hour ukulele challenge, especially if you're a beginner or have friends who are beginners. Really good way to learn the instrument. Catch you later. Thanks for hanging with me.